Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with issue 57, the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. Okay, so what's in the magazine? A Date with Destiny, 5 unsung heroes. So apparently there was a team of 5 postal clerks who died while trying to carry 200 sacks of registered mail to safety. I'll be honest, if I didn't get my post, I probably wouldn't be all that gutted. But parcels is a different story. Again, more articles on Royal Mail. And again, articles recovered. Postal Service, because at the end of the day, the RMS Titanic, RMS stood for Royal Mail Steamer. So it was essentially a postal ship that happened to carry passengers. Again, more about the mail bags, etc. that were being carried to New York by Titanic. Some of the letters written on white Star Line stationery. And that's us on to the parts. So, without further ado, let's have a look and see what's in the box. So, in today's box, we have some more portable brown paper envelopes. We also have some AP screws and some DP screws, you know, those lovely tiny little silver ones. Nothing else in the box. In the first brown paper envelope, we have again whistles and the piping, and then the bigger one we have the rest of the funnel pieces, because of course today we are assembling the 4th and thankfully final funnel. Now again, the first thing we do need to do is paint these whistles, because they're black as you can see and they should be brass. So without further ado, I'll get them painted and I'll be back in just a sec. And there we go. The whistles are now brass. Perfect. Small detail, but it makes all the difference. Okay, so the first thing we need, put all of these pieces to the side, is we need these tiny little screws. Now again, we need 6 of them. They give us 7. Which isn't all that generous considering the size of these and how easy it looks to snap the head off one of them. I've not managed to do that yet. Hopefully I'll manage to get through the final funnel without doing so too. Now again, what we're doing is taking the funnel piece, slipping the sleeve over the top. Now what I tend to do is, contrary to what the instruction says, I line up the holes at the back. Because again, if they line up, then everything else will subsequently. Make sure it's all nice and tight. Then, as with the other funnels previously, take a cocktail stick and put it through those holes in the back to keep them lined up. Then, fold one side round, lining the holes up. I've already got a screw attached to my screwdriver. Now bear in mind we are only screwing certain holes in. So the top one will go in first, hopefully. Just make sure everything is lined up. No, it doesn't want to go in the hole actually. That's not good. So again, just make sure you've lined the screw hole up. There we go. Again, don't be tempted to over tighten it, because if you do, it's going into plastic, you will just strip the hole out. But that's in just like that. The next one, just checking and putting them in the right holes, because they seem to be holding this the other way around from me. Ha! I've put that one in the wrong hole. Of course I have. Right. So instead of holding it from the top, they want you to hold it like this. So that screw should in fact go in the hole below it. But rather than remove that one and have to go and mess around trying to line it all up again, I'll put the second screw in the hole. Maybe. Yep, there we go. I'll put the second screw in its hole before I unscrew the first one, so that everything doesn't pop back off. Like that. So, we're wanting to put a screw in that hole, in this hole here, and then in the very top one there. Again, I'll line my screw up on the screwdriver. Again, it tells you to, the screwdriver it gave you in the first stage of the kit was a PHO screwdriver. Now that works for most of the screws, but it will not work for these ones. These ones you do need a smaller screwdriver head. Now mine is a precision screwdriver kit that I'm using anyway, so this is a PHOO head that I've got in my screwdriver, and even it's struggling a little bit with these tiny little screws, but that's that one in, and then the final one goes in the top, just there. And these are almost watchmaker screws. They are so small. Again, I know some people have chosen to replace these funnel sleeves with photo etch ones because they don't like the fact that the screws basically do stand out a little bit. But I don't think they look bad, especially once you've got the details over the top of them. You don't really see them. Certainly not on the first three funnels. I'm no reason to think this one will be any different. So again, line the screwdriver up on the screw up on the screwdriver, and all you're doing is putting screws in the opposite side. Just make sure you hold it nice and tight so that the holes line up perfectly. Otherwise it's going to be difficult to get the screw to bite, but once the first one's in, the rest of them kind of line up more or less by themselves. There we go. It's the bottom one in, and finally the middle one. Wasn't lined up on the screwdriver properly. Again, the holes are exactly the right size for the screw to go through, so if you're even misaligned by the tiniest wee bit, the screw won't fit. It's a bit of a pest, but it is what it is. So there we go. That is all the screws in. We can now remove the cocktail sticks. I've found that's really helpful because it keeps the back piece aligned, because obviously there's a pipe that goes in there and you're not wanting it to be out of kilter with where it's meant to go, and it makes it easier to bend the wrap around, because the last thing you're wanting is to end up, you screw those 3 in, and then you're having to force the other side round, because again, those screw heads don't look the strongest, so the last thing you want is for them to snap while you're trying to manipulate the wrap as such. Okay, so the next thing we need is this piece here, and the ring with the rigging attachments. Now again, it will only go one way, because you can see there's a big tab and a small tab. I don't think it matters which way is up and which way is down. Oh, it does. You can see there's a slight lip on this side. If I bring it closer, you might be able to see there's a slight lip, and on that side it's flat. The lip wants to go towards the top of the funnel. Again, just make sure you line the tabs up with the right holes and slide it down just like that. And then you can see there's a tab on the inside of the funnel just there. Line that up with the tab in the front, push it all down, and there is the kind of spine of funnel number 4. Okay, so now I need a little bit of glue. So as always, I do use Glue It, which is a vacuum sealed glue from The Range, which is a department store, more or less a hardware store in the UK. I believe if you're not in the UK, the closest version to this kind of glue is Loctite. So you need to see which one of these pipes has the holes in it. And it's this one, the one that is slightly longer. Has 3 holes in it. And what we're going on to that is the steam whistles that we painted earlier. So again, what I'm using here is a hand drill with essentially a straightened paper clip in the end to apply my glue that little bit more precisely. And I've been going through a lot of glue recently, because as you'll see once I'm finished with the Titanic, I have now finished the Millennium Falcon, much to the delight of my 6-year-old. Now that has been 3 years in the making because of issues with model space. Now that's what that looks like when it's done. The next thing we do is take the funnel, get a little bit of glue, and run it along this slot here. And we take this piece, and that tab right at the back goes into that hole. Again, just hold it for a second and the glue will set, and that looks just like that. Then the next thing we're doing is taking this assembly that we made just a moment ago, and the 3 pins on that are going into the 3 holes going up the middle. Again, a little bit of glue in the holes. Line the 3 holes up. Now they don't push all the way in because, well, they can't, because of, see where the platform is there, it will only let them push in a certain amount. Okay, perfect. So that's the whistles fitted, and the next bit, and this probably the fiddliest bit of this stage other than the screws, is the ladder. Now the first thing I do is check that the pegs from the ladder haven't been bent inwards in transit, because if they are, they won't fit in the holes. So I will test fit it first, Wait and see, it'll fit absolutely perfectly and I'll be gutted I have to remove it to put glue on, but still. Yeah, that's not bad at all. In fact, it's actually fitting not too badly without the glue, but I'm going to glue it because it's the kind of thing that will fall off. So again, just a little dab of glue into all 8 of these holes running up the funnel. It's always the hardest, the one that's underneath the platform. There we go. As I've mentioned every single time we've talked about the funnels, the 4th funnel is in fact just a ventilator for some of the interior spaces. Now it did mean that if you look at pictures of some of Titanic's rivals, you'll see that a lot of their deck space is taken up by ventilators. Now we have a lot of them on Titanic even, but the rivals had even more. So the fact that Titanic was able to use the 4th funnel as a ventilator meant there was more deck space with less, essentially, air vents sticking up out of them. Perfect. That's what the ladder looks like when it's attached to. And now the final piece is this pipe here, and it's going into the 3 holes on the back of the funnel. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Pipe goes into the back. And doesn't that look absolutely smashing? Fantastic, eh? And now, this bit. Now obviously, as I've just mentioned, the 4th funnel didn't actually operate as a funnel. There's a slight ventilation area, but for the most part it was for decoration. So what we're doing is fitting this so that the section with the printed details goes towards the rear of the funnel. It should just drop in. It fits quite snugly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the 4th funnel. All finished. Now, we're not quite finished. We do still have another tiny little bit to do. If we turn the funnel upside down, they've given us a part like this that doesn't seem to be used. Oh well. I'm just going to check back through the instructions, make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, no, I have. Missed a bit. In my eagerness, I've missed a bit. Well, not that it makes that much difference, but still, I'll fit it. So, take that back out. This piece here, that I was just looking to see where it goes inside the funnel. I'll just check which way around it goes, if it goes a particular way. Yeah. It goes in with the 2, what looks like screw holes but aren't, facing downwards. It's not wanting to fit. Ah. 2 seconds, trying to figure out why this doesn't want to fit in. And I'm assuming the reason that this piece is fitted is to stop any light coming up from down below, but tell you what, that doesn't want to fit, so I'm not going to bother with it. Yeah, so that was a waste of time, but that bit's supposed to go in there, but with mine it just wasn't going to fit properly, so I'll just leave it out and hope it doesn't make any difference. But the other thing I need to do is get the funnel base over from the last issue. So I'll get that and I'll be back in just 2 seconds. Okay, so here is the base for the funnel that we made in the last issue. All we're doing is taking the funnel and fixing it into these 2 screw holes there. Turning the assembly upside down and attaching it with 2 AP screws. So that's the first one. They fit quite nicely, which is fortunate because it means you're not having to sit the funnel down on anything at the moment. And the second screw going in just here. And that is the 4th funnel attached to its base. And I think you'll agree that looks awesome. Absolutely awesome. And if you can believe it, that is us for issue 57. So that's us all done for issue 57. What's coming in issue 58? Well, the first class smoking room, the deck pieces for the boat deck to finish off all the decking, the planking, and we also have some vents and some benches and a load of screws, which I assume will be to screw the first class smoking room roof onto the boat deck. So yeah, by the end of the next issue we will more or less, barring a few davits and lifeboats, bit of a spoiler, but by the end of issue 58 we will have nearly everything put in place for the boat deck. As I say, by the time we hit issue, I think 61 is the last issue that's anything to do with the boat deck, and then issue 62 is moving back onto the hull. But that's what that looks like that we worked on today, and I think you'll agree that looks absolutely phenomenal. But I'm very glad to see the end of the funnels and those horrible little screws. It sadly is the nature of these things that are going to be bits that are going to be repetitive. As I said, with Bismarck, you had the 4 gun turrets, which were a bit fiddly. You had all the 15cm turrets that were a bit repetitive. But it's what it is. It's not a big issue. It's not as bad as likes of Iron Man, which was all the same. But yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. Do drop a comment, because it does help out massively with the channel, and consider subscribing to be kept up to date with future content. As I say, once I'm finished with these 4 issues of Titanic, there's something else that I'll be showing you and having a bit of a chat about. It's something that I think, as far as I've been told, is going to make a revival soon, and hopefully I can give you a bit of impartial information about it. But yeah, that's us all done for issue 57. Do join me shortly for issue 58. So thanks for watching, and as always, peace out.